Well, hey, welcome everybody. Real quick, just as kind of somebody that's quarterbacking this call, I'm Jim Denzine from the Seasoned Butcher, one of the owners. I just want people to know as you're watching this potentially live or on the recording that you're either here, A, as a member of Serviceside, or B, you might have been invited as a guest. And Torin so graciously allowed us to do that. But here's the deal, everybody. You want to check out Serviceside.com because that's the reason why we're all here. They've got this really, really cool membership, and members are used to seeing events like this. They're used to seeing discount codes or coupon codes, I should say. And during this event, we're going to flash one up twice, two different times on the Tactacam, which is why we're here. And we've got Rob here. But it's all because of Torin. So I just want to remind everybody that no matter whether you're here as a guest or you're here as a member, that's the reason why we're here. And that's the value in this membership. I like to tell Torin it's probably the most valuable membership in your purse or wallet. And so Torin, without further ado, why don't you go ahead and do the setup here for Rob?
Sure, absolutely. So like Jim said, I'm Torin Shirk, the marketing media manager at Serviceside. We host webinars just like this based on educational content, whether it's videography, hunting tactics, things like that, about twice a month. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Rob Nally. He is the regional sales manager at Tactacam. Rob, you specifically are in the Mid-Atlantic region, correct?
Yep, yeah, the northeast part of the country. I run all of our sales and dealers accounts and do a little bit of info and how-to here and there when I get these opportunities like this. So I appreciate you guys having me today.
Yeah, absolutely. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to hop on here. So this webinar is primarily going to be around Tactacam's products and how easily their system can help you video your hunts in the field, whether it's second angle, first person, first angle, that whole deal, which Rob is going to go through. So you got the floor, Rob.
Cool, I appreciate it. Yeah, what we'll do quick is we'll just touch on the basic camera systems. Everything operates very similar as far as our different models. So our base camera, our highest tier at the moment is going to be our 5.0. This is a 4K video camera, weighs 3.4 ounces, records, like I said, in 4K, has the ability to zoom up to 8 times. It has image stabilization built into it. And one thing we pride ourselves on and always tell people is this is by far the easiest camera and camera system to use when it comes to filming your hunts. When you are ready to turn this camera on, the last thing you want to do while you're in the woods is have to fidget with different buttons and settings and, take your focus off of whatever you're hunting or the shot you're about to take. So as far as simplicity, it is literally the press of one button. When you touch that power button, you're going to turn this camera on. It's going to vibrate twice. That way you can feel it through your gun, through the riser in your bow to let you know it's activating. And in less than 3 seconds, the camera turns on and starts recording. So we're actually making a 4K video right now. When you're ready to turn the camera off, again, it's one touch. You hold the power button down, it starts to vibrate, and the camera shuts down. So everything is one touch. It does not get any easier than that. As far as mounting systems for your 5.0 camera, we've got them for your compound bow. So this is a stabilizer mount. Camera slides into it, tighten your set screw down, and now the camera actually replaces your stabilizer. So this setup weighs a little over 7 ounces, which actually is about the average weight of your stabilizer. So now you have a camera and a stabilizer all in one. There's no need to run both. So that's your bow mount. And then we've also got an underscope mount, which this is primarily going to be for crossbow, but it really mounts on anything with a Picatinny rail. So AR, any rifle scope mounted on a pick rail. Most of the time, guys use this for crossbow, but this mounts on your rail, and the camera mounts parallel to your scope and videos forward. Then we've got our gun mount. This is probably our most popular mount. It's very universal. It has a clamp system built into it. The camera locks in the top just like a scope mount. This will go down to a 22 barrel up to a 12 gauge, and it'll also clamp on the tube of a scope. So if you don't want to use the underscope on your crossbow, you prefer to clamp this on the top of your scope, you're your rifle scope, your shotgun, whatever it may be, or on the barrel. Again, this is a very universal mount. People also use this if you really like your stabilizer, which is perfectly fine, and you don't want to take your nice stabilizer off your bow. You can also clamp this on the stabilizer on your bow and put the camera in it again. So you've got tons of options with this mount. Now that's our regular 5.0 camera. This is the camera you're going to want on the weapon that's facing the animal you're going to be taking a shot at, whether it's a turkey, a deer, a duck, whatever it may be. That's our 5.0 regular. Now we're going to move into our second angle camera, which is our 5.0 wide. Same exact housing, same exact button, same power setup. It just has a wide angle lens. So this camera is going to be for your B-roll when you're walking through the woods, doing your interview, tracking your deer after you shot. I run this one up in a tree behind me to video me taking the shot, and I'll also use it to put it on the ground in a food plot and get deer moving throughout. So again, we have our 5.0 regular, which goes on your weapon facing the animal you're shooting, and then we have a 5.0 wide also for your second angle, your selfie angle. Now the beautiful part about the Tactacam system is you have the ability to link these 5.0 cameras to our remote. So instead of pressing the buttons on multiple cameras when you're running multiple angles, you can link up to 5 of them to one remote. When I press that single button on the remote, it's going to turn up to 5 cameras on at one time. So now all of a sudden you're by yourself, and you have an entire production going on. You can have literally 5 different angles worth of Tactacams and control them with the press of a single button. So again, it gets no easier when you're self-filming than it does with Tactacam. So guys, do you have any questions so far on any of our basic system or setup?
Well, I was going to say no. I think you covered pretty much a really good introduction there. Do you want to potentially dive into some of the other shots that you can use your system for?
Hey, here's some examples of how you can use this camera system to get multiple angles.
So we're talking B-roll or second angle, as Torn's referring to. Just an example, last night, got out first good weather sit here in Wisconsin. So we took one of the cameras, Rob, and actually it was the fisheye because we're waiting on the 5.0 wides to come in, right? And had that on, and this shows you the diversity. I'm actually going to tell you guys what we put it on. We used that base that you showed, put it on the ozonics tree arm, right? Because we quit taking the ozonics in the woods. It just doesn't fit our hunting style. And screwed that on there. And then that was facing on me as the shooter, right? And so then while Charlie was filming with the big camera, I was picking up additional ancillary footage with my Galaxy S21 Ultra. So we're using the Tactacams. The point I want to make is we're using the Tactacams a lot, along with the cell phone, for a lot of that B-roll footage. And then I'll add to that, and you can run with it. The food plot settings, or like, let's say edging, right? Any edges you're hunting, or decoy spreads, we've actually rigged up what I'm going to call a pick stick. I know there's something out there called a pick stick, but we've kind of made our own, where you can take any sort of like smooth fence post material or smaller diameter re-rod, and we've welded that nut or the threading on top, that 1/4-20 threading rod. And then all I need to do is we screw that base on that you showed, right? And then you can go with the universal mount, and we're getting the footage across the top of the decoy spreads, our field setups with our geese, but our food plotting. So I'm just spitballing some ideas at you, because I think a lot of times people don't, until they hear other guys talk about it, and then the light bulb goes off. Oh my gosh, right? It's an OMG moment where they say, okay, I get it. I can literally put these things anywhere I want.
Absolutely. And that's what we really wanted to do was instead of designing all of our own mounts, we've got our key mounts for your weapon. That is very specific for the weapon you're hunting with. But as far as your second angle shots, there's literally thousands of options out there on Amazon, Walmart, all over the internet. Once you have our universal mount, and again, this is just called a Tactacam universal mount, and the camera slides into it, any style mount on the market, whether it be GoPro, any aftermarket, I use this one myself quite a bit. But once you have our universal mount, you can literally adapt to anything on the market. This was 20 bucks on Amazon. I mean, you can do so many things with it. I literally walk through the woods with it, talk to it, interview myself. I set it up in the middle of a food plot in the middle of the woods. I also take this and I wrap it around a tree branch or my bow hanger in the tree to get that second angle over my back. So the 5.0 wide, the universal mount, is literally going to adapt to anything you're going to find on the internet, as far as your pick stick, as you called it, anything with that 1/4 thread, you're covered. So the B-roll is really where you add to your video. The video taking the shot, that's awesome, but your interview, your excitement after you take that shot, your reaction, you walking up to that buck, seeing it for the first time, that B-roll is really what adds a whole new level to your video and spices it up and separates you from just another hunting video. So like I said,
Right.
this is intended to be a system for sure. When you put multiple angles together, it just becomes an entire production. And again, it's all off of one button.
Right. So another example of that, Rob, is to reiterate the B-roll or the excitement on you. Most people, let's face it, are going to run with either some sort of handy cam, maybe because of the cost of some of these units. Maybe they've got the funds to go ahead and purchase a bigger camera setup. But a lot of guys are running their cell phone, right, on a camera arm, like a 4th arrow. And that's actually a pretty inexpensive way to go, by having these different, like our tree attachments, where that wide, right, is back on you, facing what we did last night, angled it on the shooter, right? And then of course you can take that unit like you on the recovery, but you can't, to me, the magic is catching it when it's live, right? Not recreating it. A lot of guys, it's all fake, right? And so that's what we like. And we were blown away last night. Again, not surprising because we used them during turkey season, but it literally, because of the way we had it set up, picking up my bow, right? Clipping on, even though I didn't take the shot and we passed on the buck, when these 2 bucks came in, and then the big cameras, is actually getting them coming across this like set aside field. And Charles, I haven't seen the footage yet, but he texted me last night and he's like, this footage is amazing, right? And so we're excited because now we gotta edit that down, of course, get it to you and Torrin, but exactly what you're saying. But go ahead, back to you.
That's perfect, because it's a real reaction, like you said. I don't know about you guys, but arrows and broadheads cost too much for me to sling one out of a tree to recreate a shot, when with a Tactacam, I could have done it for real. I'm not going to send a $30 arrow broadhead through the woods just to get an angle again. So you're absolutely correct. And there's other options, like you said. There's handy cams, there's cell phone mounts, there's camera arms, and those are great. But Torrin will put a video in here to show you guys. Sometimes using that camera arm, your cell phone, a handy cam, moving it, adjusting it, it's not possible. I had an example last year during the rut in November. I was in the stand. I heard grunting, I heard crashing. I knew something was on the way. I had a buck run literally 5 yards under my stand. The last thing I had time for was to turn the big camera on, zoom it, focus it, move the tree arm, get it on the deer. He's on a doe, he's running. So it's either I clip my bow with my release and get drawn, or I don't kill this deer and hope to get a little bit of video. So all I did was I tapped the button on my remote. Now all of a sudden, I've got this angle on my bow, watching this buck as he runs in. He stops right underneath of me, and I've got my 5.0 wide over my shoulder as well, getting me drawing, stopping him, taking the shot, and that's the end of the story. So I went from having absolutely no video to having an incredible video with 2 different angles, because of this remote. Otherwise, I'd have probably had to shoot that deer while I was messing with this other camera, or I'd have missed him. He'd have been gone and I'd never shot it. So those other options are okay. But to guarantee yourself that you're not going to miss at least getting something, and let's face it, some video is a whole lot different and beats nothing when you go back to camp and say, hey, you guys will never believe, what I saw is a whole lot different than pulling your phone out, going to your Tactacam video and saying, guys, look what I saw. So, it's all about the ease of use for sure.
And to piggyback off of Rob, one of the things that we get a lot is that exact same scenario where a buck comes in chasing a doe, because let's face it, that's when the majority of us are spending our time, is during that pre-rut period, and you're not able to swing potentially your main camera over, and you're missing all that footage where if you have it, you have the Tactacam on your bow, or in a situation, you're 100% going to at least get that shot. And with the technology and how good these cameras are now, 8x zoom, filming in 4K, you can crop a lot of this down too and get great footage and manipulating it in post-production. The other thing with that as well is a lot of people zoom in too far. So when, let's say you're on your main camera and you're zooming in, all you're getting is, let's just say, the buck's body. Well, that's not really the best scene for that scenario in putting a hunting film together. You want to be backed out. With this system, you're already pretty much at a perfect point of how much zoom you need to have, and then you can manipulate it in post-production. You're never going to miss or be too zoomed in for that scenario. The second, I had a question for you, Rob, too, is I get this question a lot. Which camera, if I'm going to buy one starting off, would you recommend getting?
So I always recommend, personally, the regular 5.0. The wide angle, the second angle is great. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm still going to first want the angle of taking the shot at the animal, the zoomed in. The wide is awesome, but you can't always get the best picture of the actual animal you're shooting at. But the second angle is not meant to do that. The second angle is meant to capture, a larger picture, you taking the shot, reaction, just an overall bigger picture. Whereas in any video, the real key, you want a good video of the deer, you want a good video of the duck, the turkey, whatever it is. You want to watch him coming in, you want it clear, you want it zoomed. So I always recommend starting with the regular 5.0, and then you can work your way up and actually build your system. You get the one on your bow, you get it on your gun. Best part about these cameras is you buy one 5.0, you put it on your bow for archery, you take it off your bow, you put it on your shotgun for waterfowl, for turkey, you put it back on your bow for late archery. So one regular 5.0 just needs different mounts to go on literally every weapon you're going to be hunting with. And then once you get used to that, you can work your way into the second camera, your wide angle, your third. I never go out without 3 5.0s. I run one regular and 2 wides. I've always got 3 angles. And again, one remote, one button, all 3 cameras comes on in seconds, and it's an entire production by myself. So I would start with the regular 5.0, build yourself up. You can start with a wide angle if you prefer the second angle, the wide angle. There's nothing wrong with that. But me, when I'm putting a video together, I do want to see that animal up closer. And the beautiful part about the 5.0 is because the zoom is adjustable, you can go from 3 up to 8. If you back the zoom down to 3, you can still hold a regular 5.0 out in front of you, talk to it, video your blood trail. It's just not as wide of an angle. So you can still make this regular 5.0 work as a second angle. It's just not optimal for it like the 5.0 wide, but it's 110% doable, especially, if you don't have the funds to start off with 2 cameras, even though these are incredibly affordable for a 3-ounce 4K video camera, which, at this point, I'll let Jim jump in. As he kind of preambled into at the beginning of this was all brought together by Serviceside for members, for guests. This deal that Serviceside and the Seasoned Butcher have put together for anybody watching this video is one of those too good to be trues. I'll tell you this, as a sales manager, we have to give you guys a code because the price is too good to advertise. You are not going to find a deal like this anywhere online, whatever store you go to. This was specifically built for you guys. And I'll let Jim tell you how you can get the best price that there is on these Tactacam cameras.
So I real quick before Jim jumps in, I want to piggyback off of what you said, Rob, and it actually relates to what you're talking about. When you look and you're thinking about pricing out other cameras, to purchase both the wide and the regular 5.0, you are going to be at a much cheaper price point than getting a 4K camera. Even if your budget only allows you with, like what Rob said, getting one and starting out with just a 5.0, you're going to be able to capture enough footage that you're going to be able to take advantage of the service side program where you can get paid out for your content. So I just wanted to reiterate that and keep that in mind for the audience and for the viewers. So go ahead, Jim, take it away.
No, absolutely. It's interesting here listening to both of you. You guys are clearly nailing it here. And Torrin, you're absolutely right, because we just went through that ourselves prior to meeting Rob. Is, you know, launching a business, you only obviously have so much money, and that money needs to go toward the business, right? And part of what we do is filming our field to table concept, because everything we do at the Seasoned Butcher is about field to table. And that's how this relationship actually started. For those of you that are wondering, I don't want to leave you hanging, like, what in the world does the Seasoned Butcher have to do with Tactacam and service side? And as you come check us out, you'll see that. I don't want to do a commercial here, but it's because of the field to table, because we're filming our meat making tutorials, because COVID was like the perfect storm, right? And started to develop this awareness that, hey, you know what, I better fill my freezer. And because of the marketplace going to $5, $6, $7 a pound on sausage, snack sticks, jerky, all those types of things, we do all that, but we also film it and we teach you how to do it. So we had a need for B-roll. So we agree with everything these guys are talking about. So here's how you get this, and here's how we had to do this for service side and Tactacam. If you go to, obviously, just go to theseasonedbutcher.com/Tactacam. Torrin will pop that up here, but theseasonedbutcher.com/Tactacam. Now the code, it's imperative that you use all capital letters, Servicide, CERVICIDE 2021. That will put you in the right spot for you to take advantage of this event. And again, obviously the members, and that, you know, probably 99% of you watching this are part of the membership. If for some reason this leaked out, because we are using this as a promo event for Torrin and crew, great, you get a taste of it. And the only thing I'll throw in there is you'll save more money by buying these cameras. It'll literally, will pay for your membership for the next year, which is really cool. I threw that out at Torrin the other day, and he's like, yeah, but he's a nice guy and he likes to soft sell things. And I appreciate that about him and Rob, but we still need to recognize why we're here, right? The reality is we're here because of service side. So back to you guys.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jim. And like you said, we're going to do we want to talk about how we're going to do these runs?
Yeah, we certainly can. So what we're doing, as a reminder, and you'll see it when you get logged in with the coupon code or passcode, that in the red box on the left-hand side is a set of instructions that we're batch ordering these. We had no way of knowing the reach here with this recording and the one web event that we did. And so rather than try to guess and have the proper amount of inventory, we came up with this beta test concept that we could so-called batch, you know, do them in batches. We actually have the second batch, a lot of that being shipped out tomorrow to everybody that placed orders. And then depending on, you know, how the orders are coming in from these events, we're for sure going to, you know, finalize a batch somewhere around the 30th, probably make an announcement depending on how the beta tests go, it could possibly go into October, we're thinking. But we'll keep you informed on that through announcements on the Servicide app. So you want to make sure everybody has that app installed on your mobile device. But does that kind of answer it for you, Torin?
Yeah, absolutely. So what about turnaround time currently, Jim? Because I know that I've been getting some questions on that.
Right. So the people that ordered from the event last week, they FedExed a monstrous order to us that we got notification yesterday. That's going to show up today or tomorrow, and we're going to immediately execute that. We don't sit on those. So everybody from the first batch already has their equipment. The second batch actually is turning quicker than the first batch, and we believe that as orders trickle in now, the only exception to that would be the 5.0 wides. And maybe, Rob, you want to speak to that this whole COVID thing, but we felt safe enough to go ahead and add them to the site, which we did last week. They weren't there prior, but you're thinking hours or days for those to arrive.
Yeah. So like so many other things in the world, of course, production and shipping is backed up with us because of COVID. We're still feeling the effects of it, the chip shortages. It's affecting us like it is companies across the world. But we have 5.0s in stock. Jim is getting those taken care of, the mounts, everything you need. We've got everything in stock that you guys are going to be needing and wanting, except the wides. Now the wides are going to be showing up literally any second. We have them on the way. Jim already has a pile of them on back order for you guys. So there really won't be a delay. By the time you see this video, get your order in, and this next run time's out, we're expecting those wides to be in and on their way to Jim and the Seasoned Butcher, and in turn get them to you. So that will be your next chance. They're back ordered countrywide. So through the Seasoned Butcher and especially through the special pricing, it will probably be the easiest and quickest way for you guys to get your hands on those. And I know a lot of people are going to be wanting the wide angle cameras in addition to the regular 5.0. So literally,
Perfect.
Call any second, they should be arriving.
Torin, I know you had a couple last minute questions that you had texted me on rain and snow and battery life. I'll just throw them all at you at once. Rain and snow, battery life, and the FTS. What type of scopes are optimal as far as Leopold, Vortex? What do you recommend on those?
Okay, as far as weatherproofing, waterproof elements, absolutely no concern with the 5.0 and 5.0 wide, the remote. They're all 100% weatherproof. They are not submergible, meaning you cannot put them underwater. You can't throw them in a swimming pool. Don't go scuba diving with them, but you can sit in the rain and snow all day with these cameras and products, and it will have absolutely no effect on it. So yes, no issue with the weather whatsoever. Battery life, I'll show you the battery real quick. And we have a proprietary battery. It is a lithium ion, so it's going to withstand the cold. You get 2.5 hours of runtime per charge out of battery. So from the time you press that power button to turn the camera on, it will record for 2.5 hours. Now, of course, you can get extra batteries. They're less than $20 to have one of those extra batteries in your pocket just in case. For a cost of less than $20 is a no-brainer. I always recommend an extra battery with every camera just because the 5.0, the 5.0 wide, and the remote take the same exact battery and charger. Everything is universal. We weren't going to make you guys buy all different products. So that covers your weather, your battery life. For the FTS is our film through scope. It's going to work with the regular 5.0. You do not want the wide angle in the FTS, but FTS again stands for film through scope. What we did was we built the ability to film through your crossbow, through your gun scope with the FTS in our 5.0 camera. So the FTS slides onto the back of your scope. The 5.0 camera slides into the mount as well, and exactly what your eye sees through the scope, the camera is going to see. So now the camera works off the zoom of your scope. When you crank your scope power up, the camera is going to zoom in with it. Your crosshairs, your reticle, your lighted reticle, whatever may be in your scope, that is exactly what the camera is going to see. So you're shooting 100, 150 plus yards. the camera is limited. Your 8x zoom is going to handle you out to 80, 90, maybe 100 yards, but anything past 100, 8x zoom is just a little bit far at that point for that camera to pick up. So the FTS is going to come into play. But of course, crossbow guys, you shoot 20, 30 yards. There's nothing like seeing your lighted reticle and a lighted nock flying through the scope in a video. It's absolutely incredible. As far as scopes we recommend, it's universal. You get adapters to fit to all different size scopes. The better the glass, you guys know how it is. The better the scope quality, the better the glass, the better the video you're going to get. But we run these on scopes of all sorts, whether it's a $150 Vortex or a $1,500 Swarovski, whatever it may be. With the 4K video, you get an awesome video, but you do notice a little bit of light difference, a little bit of clarity difference. So yes, the higher the quality scope you have, the better video you are going to see in return.
Right. Real quick, everybody. Torrin and I were just texting, and we want to remind you also, because we're all into grabbing the most cool footage we can get, right? And we've kind of nicknamed them those money shots. So I want to also throw out, as we build our community, anyone watching this, let your friends know you can subscribe to our channel at the Seasoned Butcher, especially if you have an interest in home butchering. We are posting our hunts there. Again, that's the Seasoned Butcher. That's actually on YouTube. On Instagram, follow us on _Seasoned Butcher. What I want to throw out here, though, is if you get some money shots, tag us or direct message myself or my business partner, Charlie Anderson. And we both also have personal Instagram accounts. I'm Jim Denzine, again, Charlie Anderson, but you can get access through the Seasoned Butcher. We want to collect those money shots. We're wondering how many will get sent to us through the Servicide community or people that watch this. Our goal is to have enough shots come in. We could do some sort of highlight film, Rob, which was kind of Torrin's idea, would be really, really cool. And all because of these events that we're doing, because, we just did a show and people were walking up and they're excited. You see the look in their face. And most of us, let's face it, we're trying to film because we're capturing memories, right? We're not trying to be celebrities. And that's what I love about what we're doing here is these money shots that all of you capture, send them to us so we can help in that experience and get that out so we can all enjoy that.
Absolutely. Tactacam loves to see the same thing. I mean, we get awesome video. We'll share it on our pages. You're talking, 150, 200,000 plus people seeing that. So yeah, please send your video in when you get it. I like the idea of making a Servicide Seasoned Butcher highlight. We'll share that out in front of hundreds of thousands of people to see, and we like to see it anyway. We like the excitement, like you said. We want people coming up to us and saying, you guys will never believe the video I got off of this camera. And a lot of, I'm not going to lie, when, I worked my first couple of shows, I've been here for a few years now, and people would come up and go, oh, you'll never believe this video. And, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. I've seen a lot of video. Some of the stuff you guys are able to capture with these Tactacam systems is literally groundbreaking. It is some of the most incredible video I've ever seen. So again, don't miss out on that once in a lifetime opportunity. It's one thing to go back to camp and tell a story. It's one thing for your kid to go to school and tell their friends about their first deer kill. It's a whole different thing for them to show their first deer kill on video, show their kids, in 20 or 30 years, their first kill. It just takes the story to a whole nother level. So for the deal you guys are getting, you can literally save the memories for a lifetime and show them as many times as you want.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to piggyback off of Rob here a little bit before we close. So with this system and how you can capture various scenes, various ways to even go about capturing footage, your limitation is really just your imagination. And by sending in your footage to Tactacam, Servicide, the Seasoned Butcher, and following us, you're going to be able to see how other users are using this system and maybe create some sparks and ideas and get those creative juices flowing of how you want to use your system. But don't get pigeonholed, and this is what I really want to drive home. Don't get pigeonholed into the traditional feel of what you see on TV, how you capture footage, hunting footage. Run wild with it. Be creative. Throw your own personality into it. This is really exciting stuff, and Tactacam has brought this to the market for you as a user. Go wild with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, make it your own. Yeah, I mean, you watch hunting nowadays, and the stuff on TV is like almost like you're watching the same show over and over. It's the same kind of setup. Make it your own. Get creative. With this remote system, you can literally put these cameras anywhere. I mean, the sky is the limit. Look around for mounts. Look around for options. Who knows? You might come up with something nobody's ever thought of, and who knows who's going to see it. If you're going to cry on video because you get excited, cry on video. We want to see the real reaction. Again, don't have to go back and recreate something because I can't force myself to cry. If I'm going to cry on video because I killed the biggest buck of my life, I want it to be real. I don't, dump water on my face, sit there, act like I'm crying in the stand. So yeah, again, it's, make it unique, make it you, make it real, and just make it something special.
Dude, you got me laughing.
Right. We've all been there. Right? Before Tactacam, every once in a while you got to dump a little water on your eye and turn your big camera around. Just shot the biggest buck of my life. Wow. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that anymore. I've already got this one in the tree. Caught me boohooing for real. Now there's no getting rid of it. So yeah, it's just.
Well, that movement, let's call it what it is. I mean, the advent of mobile devices and things like YouTube has allowed all of us, every one of you, to be a publisher, an editor, a filmer, which is, I'd rather watch all of y'all's footage, right, than flip on the TV. Gosh, I'm 53, Rob. I turned those shows off probably 12, 13 years ago. Won't watch them. It's not real. It's just, they'd argue that it is. I'm going to say, good for you. I can't grow them. I don't have millions of dollars. I can't get thousands of acres. I'm out there doing it the way, 80% of us have to do it, right? And I kind of coded it, blue collar hunter. And that's what we're all about here. So we just want to encourage everybody, just, let that dream wheel spin. And the sky is the limit, Rob.
Absolutely. And to wrap it up here, one final huge point with Tactacam. Anybody from the beginner who has never filmed a hunt to someone who has been doing it for years and, has experience with editing and creating and piecing videos together, this camera is built for any user. It's easy enough for literally anyone who has never even picked one up to figure it out in a minute. But the camera has the ability and the zoom settings, the resolution, the image stabilization for the higher end guys. Any of you that may have been editing forever and you guys want to add really high end special touches, this camera is for everyone. You are not limited at any extent with Tactacam. So don't think if you've already been producing content and you've got thousands of viewers that this camera is not for you because of the incredible price point. This camera is for everybody, and it has the ability to suit anybody and all of your needs. So,
yeah, I think that's a great ending point. Rob, if the audience has any questions, how do they get a hold of you?
Feel free to reach out. I have absolutely no problem answering questions. Shoot me an email. My email is rnally@tactacam.com. That's RNALLY@TACTACAM.com. Ask me questions. I want to make sure you guys are comfortable with your purchase. I want to make sure you're purchasing the right mount, the right camera for you. So feel free to reach out. If for some reason that email doesn't come through to me or you guys didn't catch that, reach out to the Seasoned Butcher, reach out to Torrin. They'll forward you to me. I'll give you a call, whatever we got to do. But please, if you guys want to get into this, if you guys want to look into Tactacam, reach out. We want to get you taken care of. I have no problem talking to you as much as possible, making sure you're comfortable with what you're about to purchase.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Jim, do you want to drop your contact information so that if anybody has questions, they know how to get a hold of you as well?
So yeah, my contact info is the Seasoned Butcher, the Seasoned, SEASONED, the Seasoned Butcher @gmail.com. And if you have questions that you want to get answered ASAP, you can text me at 715-773-1850, 715-773-1850.
All right. I'll make sure that I have that in the comments section or wherever we're going to post this webinar up. I know it's going to go to a bunch of different avenues. So I'll have everybody's contact information there. Thanks so much, fellas, for doing this. Jim, any last closing words, thoughts?
There's so many directions all of us could go here, everybody. I just want to wrap it and keep it simple because I know what you're thinking. Just, you just really comes down to, do you want to capture the footage? I mean, it's really that simple. And we'd love to, walk that journey with you on all fronts.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you for checking out this webinar brought to you by Serviceside, the Seasoned Butcher and Tactacam.
Thanks, everyone.